So there is a lot to unpack on this week's episode of Genius Prince. But the first place that I really want to kind of just start off with that I love about our main character, Prince Wein, is just the level of protection and the love that he has for Ninum and her people, right? I know, that she hails from a certain group of people, the Flams, that are revered into such a degree to where it's like they're beastmen, or it's like they're of like this slave nature, to where like so many other kingdoms and groups of people view them of like a lowly status. But as we know, the Flams inside of Natra, inside of the kingdom that Prince Wein governs, they're a plenty, and they're also really used because they have a lot of skills, right? And on top of everything else, you have Ninum, who is the right hand woman, I guess you could say, of Prince Wein, as well as like her younger brother is like one of his assassins, and I'm sure the roots of that go even deeper. So I love that Prince Wein's F it meter, right? Like his just like F it, I'm gonna do whatever I want meter, always extends over to a strong F it when the Flams, or especially when Ninum is threatened in any kind of way. We've seen it before, to where somebody has talked shit or talked crap about Ninum before on what kind of decisions that he made. And the same thing here. He's meeting with the king, and he was like, "Oh, it would take a beast. It would take a beast in human's flesh to come across a diplomatic talk and cross swords." But yet, this dude is meeting with the king of this country that he's in. And the moment the king is like, "Yo, I would hunt those dudes. I would hunt those Flams. I would hunt those ladies for sport," Prince Wein's effort meter goes to an all-time high, and he assassinates the crap out of the king. On top of that, he also lets Zeno assassinate the priest or mage, or I mean, they don't have magic, so the priest dude or whatever, the second in command of the king, Orderless. So they basically assassinate those two dudes, and it all comes back to the one comment that the king made when it came to threaten Ninum in any way, shape, or form. Because Prince Wein's like, "I'm not having it today. You're out of here." And I love that Prince Wein was like, "I'm about to make a decision. I can make it now, or I can make it later." And the king's like, "That's easy. You do it now." And he's like, "Okay." And he kicks this dude in the face. And I love how his retainer, the general or his army person, his guardsman, comes in. He's like, "Oh, I see what's going on here. I'm gonna stand guard outside, okay? Let me know if you need anything." And he just ruins these dudes. Like, I love that so much. And I love that, the anime itself, right? It's the genius Prince's Guide to Raising a Nation Out of Debt. But what ends up happening here is, like, the decisions that Wein continually ends up making has, like, a ripple effect, has, like, a domino effect on doing the exact opposite of what he intended. And his intention was raise his nation to a certain point, sell it off, or get rid of it so he can go retire and not have to deal with any of this. But these dominoes that keep following, or these dominoes that keep falling for him, are ones that are leading him to a nation of being a powerhouse. And that is even more so extremized when you had Zenovia, being the princess of Marden, not the prince, but the princess of Marden, and her basically bequeathing or yielding her state, yielding her land, yielding her baby country over to the prince to come under his control. And she knows what she's doing there, right? And that just means that his country is growing even more as a powerhouse. And when she did that, I like how Ninum was like, "I ain't helping you, bro." And on top of that, all of his statesmen, all of his royals, right? They were like, "Wow, Marden hasn't been in partnership with Natra. Marden hasn't been this subservient or this friendly to us in over 200 years. Prince Wein is the best, blah, blah, blah. And you love to see it. You love to see it. I love that Zenobia is a little treacherous, a little cutie patootie, and a little treacherous as well. I love that Prince Wein caught on to her potentially being what she is early on. I love how all of those things, kind of came into play. I thought it was perfect for all of this. And I love how Ninim's like, yo, I ain't helping you here. The rest of the episode centers around how Prince Wein got one over on the holy lady, the holy crazy lady. How, Prince Wein's action ended up kind of benefiting her because she was trying to get the king out of power regardless. And he was also able to pin most of this occurrence on the general. So he's pretty much got out scot-free in a way for this assassination of the king, and he got an asshole out of power. But now he's going to have to deal with this, crazy holy lady, which is going to be very interesting as the story progresses. And he was also able to get one over on the people, the inner rebellion within inside of Natra, who's able to kind of conquer that. And he was able to do everything all in one fell swoop. So again, just building up his repertoire of really amazing feats, which is the opposite of what our boy's trying to accomplish. But I'm going to be very interested to see on what his relationship ends up being with Zeno going forward. He also has his relationship with, what the hell is her name? Start with an L. Ludwin, Lega, Luga. I don't know. The princess from the Empire. He also has a relationship with her. And then you have Ninim, who is like, right behind him, who will always be his leading lady, but might not necessarily be the person he has to marry or anything, but the person that he'll be with. So whoever ends up coming into that picture, whether it's Zenobia, whether it is Ludwina, or whatever the hell her name is, I'm going to call her Louis. I know it's not her name. But whatever it's her, they're going to have to accept the fact that Ninim is going to be there as well, because his love for Ninim is just beyond, right? I think it's beyond romantic and familial. It's just like he holds her in the same regard as his life, which is interesting. I love seeing the relationship. It's a very, very interesting relationship and very well written. Overall, I'm impressed every single week with this anime. I laughed a shit ton this week. I hella belly laughed this week, and it was really entertaining. So let me know what you guys thought about this week's episode down in the comments below. As always, I appreciate you guys being here for another week. We'll be back next week with episode number, what is next week? 8? Yeah, episode number 8 next week, as we kind of truck towards the tail end of Genius Prince. All right, my friends, I'll see you next week. Peace out.